What's up, guys? My name is Jellycut5 and welcome back to another match preview where we look at the Chelsea versus Fulham game where it kicks off on Boxing Day at 3 o'clock. Before we do get into this preview, if you haven't done so already, please hit that like button, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that notification button so you never miss a video. I really appreciate the support that I've had on all of these videos, and it'd be great to get all of you on board that are Chelsea fans or that like football and things like that, and I do really appreciate it. And just on an added note, as it is tomorrow, a Merry Christmas to all that is currently watching and to everyone that is currently supporting this channel. So Chelsea look to return to winning ways as they host Fulham in a London derby on Boxing Day after visiting Goodison Park, unfortunately resulting in a bore draw. Prior to that, we had been on an 8-game winning run, and before that it would be kind of keen to end 2024 on a high at Stamford Bridge, in fairness, with Manchester City the only team to beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge so far. So as much as we haven't been consistent in the results, we have actually been alright in terms of not losing games at home. Fulham currently sit 9th in the table, having drawn the last 4 out of 5 matches, which is quite interesting to see those three of those draws to come against Tottenham, Arsenal and Liverpool, as they did put an impressive run together. In terms of injury news, Marc Cucurella is available for Chelsea after suspension and could come straight back into the side. He should realistically do so after Axel Disasi came in at Everton, so he should kind of drop out for him. For Fulham, Kenny Tete has a long spell on the sidelines, with Castagna to be able to expect to continue in defence. Reece Nelson is also set to be out for another 2 months for an hamstring injury, and Smith Rowe is returning to the side from Hope after missing that game against that Southampton in a 0-0 draw. Looking forward to this game as always. It's always nice to see us on the pitch, especially the way that we've been playing this season. Our home form, as I mentioned, the only team that has beaten us is Manchester City. So in fairness, as much as we haven't been quietly consistent, it's quite clear to see that we're very hard to beat at home. It's going to be a difficult game. At the same time, I feel like it should be a breeze, if that makes sense. I feel like it's going to start off hard, but I think if we get ourselves into the game and get an early goal, then I feel like we can build on that. I definitely feel like the football that we've put together this season, if we're able to kind of bring our A game, then we're definitely unbeatable. But at the same time, if we don't, then there's definitely kind of points in our game that are definitely kind of just a little bit susceptible at defence sometimes, depending on the lineup and so on, and the kind of game management at that moment in time. Fulham are a good side, nevertheless. It's a London derby. I know it kind of hasn't really seen that to Chelsea fans. I think ever since Fulham got relegated into the Championship and they came back into the Prem, it's kind of lost its kind of real kind of derby kind of feel to it. I feel like years ago it always used to be quite a big thing, but I think these days it's kind of dulled down. But it's a big game nevertheless. A big 3 points. It'd be a great kind of way to be able to round off the year against Fulham. Our record against them is pretty cushy, to be honest. We've had 57 wins, 27 draws and 12 wins only for Fulham. So on paper, it looks to be pretty much on our side, but at the same time, that could be completely different on the day. You just never know. I know we're coming off the back of a disappointing result against Everton, but it's a place that we've never performed at the end of the day. I felt like we could have won the game. I felt like we could have lost the game. Some real big moments from Robert Sanchez and Tosin to be able to keep us in the game, and there were some big moments from Jackson and potential penalty impediment on Malo Gusto. But we won't talk about that. We're moving forward against Fulham, and I feel we're in good light. At the end of the day, we're in a very good position, and if we're able to round off the year at home in a good result and then go on to Ipswich and get another result, I think we're going into the new year with our heads held high, knowing that we've performed on a very big stage and knowing that we can do a lot going forward. And that's the aim of the game. It's about progression at the end of the day, and that's where the title talk kind of gets pushed to one side, because at the end of the day we're just a team that's progressing, taking each game by game and just trying to do what we can possibly do in the fixtures that we have got presented to ourselves and see what does happen. Even though that we did drop points against Everton, the table isn't looking too bad for us, in fairness. Overall, we've played 17 games, we've won 10, we've drawn 5, and we've lost 2. Currently sitting in 2nd place. Obviously, Liverpool have got a game in hand, so they can extend their run to 7 points clear. Looking behind us, we've got Arsenal 2 points ahead behind us there. You've got Nottingham Forest 4 points behind us, and then the gap starts to increase from there. So if we obviously do our bit in that way, I feel like we can easily kind of maintain our position in 2nd. Looking down the table, Fulham in 29th and 25 points. They'll be looking to be able to see if they can pick up some points to be able to get themselves further up the table, as they kind of deem themselves in somewhat of a charge for Europe, it seems to be, with the position that they're currently in. Their form has been very kind of up and down, and I'll go into that in a minute, but I think Fulham will be quite content with the performances that they have put in lately. I just feel like it's the consistency that's gone along with it. But at the end of the day, as I mentioned, we're in a great position at the moment, and hopefully it continues even further. And seeing us in that second place is a very, very kind of happy thing to see, in fairness, because it's been a long time since we've been in these sort of positions and been able to maintain that spot at the same time. So fair play to the boys and fair play to Maresca, in fairness, because we have been doing a stellar job, and I feel like it's been very hard to criticise a lot that we've been doing this season, and it's been easy to praise, that is for sure. I mentioned that the head-to-head record is pretty good against Fulham, in fairness, but in terms of our last 5 against them, it's been easier than said than done for Fulham. It's 3 wins for ourselves, 1 draw and 1 loss. Fulham will be looking into this knowing that they're coming against some tough opponents. At the same time, Chelsea will be coming into this knowing that they can get a win. The last 5 has been pretty kind to us, in fairness, and we did the double against them last season also. So let's hope we can maintain that, and let's hope we can see a few goals put past Fulham. Now, going into Fulham's last 6, it's been a lot of draws for them, in fairness. But I know they've come against big teams, 2-2 against Liverpool, 1-0 against Arsenal, 1-0 against Tottenham. And it's been a very up and down sort of state. I mean, the last game against Southampton, I expected them to get a result with the form that they have been in, knowing they've scored against big teams. But at the same time, they wasn't able to perform whatsoever, and it was a bore draw against the worst side in the league. So I know you can't take too much from that, and you can't get big-headed in some way. But at the same time, when you look at that, you just think that, you know what, they're there for the taking in some ways, and if they can only get a point against Southampton, then surely we can get a win against Fulham and be able to kind of breeze past them with a decent win and be able to pick up all 3 points. But yeah, their form has been very hit and miss, in fairness. They're a good side to come up against, and it's been clear to see that they have been able to compete against the big boys. I mean, Tottenham, they came back with a 1-1 draw. Arsenal, they initially went 1-0 up. Liverpool, they went 1-0 up, then 1-1, then it went 2-1 up, then 2-2. So they're definitely able to compete against the bigger sides. It's just whether they'll be able to do it on the day. And it seems to be there's a slight bit of inconsistency, especially like the 4-1 defeat against Wolves as well. Very unexpected at the same time, because Wolves are another team that haven't seemed to be performing well. So maybe against the good sides they can perform, but not the bad sides, unfortunately. But they'll be hoping to bring slight consistency into the game against Chelsea in a few days' time, and hopefully they'll be able to get a result for themselves. I mean, they'll be hoping. I'm definitely not hoping, that's for sure. I'm hoping for a win, nevertheless. Hopefully we can get over the line and get a big 3 points, because I feel like we'll be able to kind of get ourselves back up and running and go from there. This is my lineup prediction. Robert Sanchez in goal. I've never run to really heap praises on Rob, in fairness, but his game against Everton was outstanding, and he was definitely worthy of a man of the match performance. Great efforts to be able to make a few big saves to be able to keep ourselves in the game and be able to take a point at home, in fairness. A fair play to Sanchez, and if he does that, then I don't mind. It's just some shaky performances that he has displayed in recent times, and unfortunately hasn't really gone his way. Now, looking forward to the back 4, we've got Marc Cucurella coming back in from suspension. I felt like we really missed him against Everton, in fairness, and it showed a big part of the role that he plays on that left-hand side, an inverted role with the defence and attack. He'll definitely be in the side with Colwill and Tosin. I felt like that'd be the best pairing, in fairness. Benoit Badiashile has copped a knock. Disasi just looks very shaky at the back, in my opinion, and the performance that Tosin put in against Everton the other day was really, really sublime. There's no reason why he shouldn't be pairing it with Levi Colwill. On the right-hand side, Malo Gusto had a better performance against Everton, but had not really many options apart from Josh Akpong. Hopefully he'll put in a real good performance against Fulham and display what he has got in the locker. Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo in the middle. A great pairing so far, and it seems to be they're continuing to do so, and it's been really, really kind of a fresh sort of feel to the midfield as much as we've seen them in the recent seasons. It's really something that's performed, and really something that Maresca's been able to kind of work in the side. So Enzo and Caicedo in the middle. Sancho on the left-hand side. Haven't got as many options, obviously. I know João Felix is there, but it doesn't seem to be that Maresca really favours Felix, in fairness. So I think he'll go with Sancho, Palmer and Noni. If he doesn't go for Noni, I reckon he'll go for Neto. It's either the two. I feel like it's what Maresca feels on the day with training and so far in games that's played. Maybe Neto might be slightly tired and Noni will be a bit more fresh. I'm not too sure, but I reckon that will be the 3 with Nicholas Jackson as the lone striker. I haven't rated Nicholas Jackson's performances as of late. I know that he's got on to 9 Premier League goals this season. I know he got a goal against Brentford. But that game against Everton, I really kind of just was a bit kind of puzzled by why he was on the pitch for so long and Nkunku wasn't replaced with Nkunku. So I'll stick with Jackson for now, but I feel like if he has put in a bad performance, then I do believe that we should be looking at putting Christopher Nkunku in fairness, because we've got a great player in Nkunku, and there's no reason why he shouldn't be on the pitch and competing with Jackson. And maybe that might give him a bit more competition, because I feel like in that position he just feels a bit too comfortable. There's no kind of person pushing him out of the place to be in the squad, and he knows he's going to be playing all the time, and that's the worry that I feel. He's definitely a great striker, and scoring 9 goals already this season has definitely proved that, but at the same time he does lack a little bit of inconsistency. But that would be my first 11. It's a very strong 11 with the injuries that we have got at this moment in time. And there's no doubt that this side is definitely capable of getting the job done. Finally, I'm here with my score prediction. We're not really one for keeping clean sheets, but I reckon this could be done on this occasion. I reckon a Chelsea 2, Fulham 0 result in the end. I feel like we'll have too much for Fulham in the end. As long as we are able to present our A game, then I don't see why we can't get the job done and get all 3 points. But it's going to be an interesting time nevertheless. Anything can happen in this moment. My score predictions are never seem to be right at the end of the day. So we'll see what happens. At the end of the day, it is a prediction, and it's definitely not going to be the right result. Well, it could be. I don't know. But if I were to go for a score, it would be 2-0. But yeah, looking forward to this one. Boxing Day clashes are always a nice, entertaining game, and hopefully Chelsea can put on a show to end the year at Stamford Bridge on a high. But that is going to be it for this particular video. I appreciate all your support on this particular video and all the other surrounding ones. We'll have a review coming up after the game, and that will be my last video for the year as we go into the new year. Looking forward to producing some new content for you guys, but I really appreciate all the support. If you haven't done so already, please hit that like button. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that notification button. It really helps me out a bunch. If you're able to do so, it'll be much appreciated. And then whatever you're doing on Christmas, I hope you all have a lovely time. Cheers.